Yes! Welcome aboard the Bhoycie Bus, and you will not believe who I've been joined with today. Let's tell the truth for the second time because I forgot to hit record the first time. I'm not all over the place. With me today is the one and only Kenny Dalglish. I know you won't believe me right now when you're listening, but it is the truth. Kenny, how we doing?
Very well, thanks, Bhoycie.
I, I've
I hope.
just had to, I've just had to have the most embarrassing experience of my whole life, where I've been chatting away for 10 minutes with an absolute icon, my dad's hero growing up, and then at the end of it go, I forgot to hit record because I'm that nervy.
Uh,
So he had the
just,
decency, the kindness to let us do this again. So thank you so much, mate.
Bhoycie, just put it down as a recording or a rehearsal.
A rehearsal. I like that. A rehearsal. I like that. I like that. Uh, Speaking of rehearsals, funnily enough, I know you were at the New York Celtic Foundation night, the charity
Aye,
one
last
about
year.
a year ago, last year,
Aye.
and Liam McGandles was playing. He's a good mate of mine, right? And Liam says he did a rehearsal in a cupboard with Rod Stewart before it, who was Afghan. He said Rod Stewart was like, "Oh, aye, I forgot we've not went through the song yet, Liam." He goes, "The most surreal moment of my life." I'm just looking at him because he just snaps into life. He just could sing like an angel out of nowhere. And it was
Aye. He was
brilliant. Eh?
he was brilliant. You get some skepticism aimed at him
Mm,
for is he really a Celtic fan?
I know,
I think that more than speaks up for it. His actions more than speak up for it.
I
So he
know.
definitely is, and he loves it.
No, I agree. No, I agree. Just a funny story. I remember when Liam had said that. He'd said you'd pulled up outside it, and Liam's just a humble guy for Denny Kenny, right? And I've had 5 pints of Guinness. Typically, I'm just like, all right, Kenny, how you doing? Just not thinking. And he said he was like, you absolutely loved it. You were just absolutely, but I knew it. It was like, it was class. But I just surreal stuff like that, innit?
Yes.
Anyway, what wasn't a rehearsal was yesterday, Mr. Dalglish. Yesterday was about getting over the line. And Celtic got over the line. They won another league title. Now, I know the perception could often be Scottish league title, easy peasy, it's already a shoe in. You know better than anyone, having won titles both north and south of the border and several other trophies, may I add. But you know fine well, these league titles don't grow on trees. They don't get handed out to you. You've got to earn them, don't you?
Well, and the only ones you can win are the ones you're competing in. So
Mm.
Celtic can only beat what's been put in front of them. And since Ange's come in, it's been magnificent for Celtic. I mean, to go through this season only losing one game so far is a fantastic achievement, and that's what Rangers have got to face. I mean,
Yep.
the games against Celtic have won every one of them apart from one. I think they had a draw. So,
Yes.
they're always in top. They're always there. Before they can get ambitions to win the title, they need to learn how to beat Celtic. And for Celtic, and they don't give you any carrots. They're out
No.
there. They're playing the games. They're playing most of the games. They had a wee run there where they scored goals a wee bit late in the season, which
Yes.
got them full points, and that was uh, after the defeat with St Mirren. So they don't give you anything. They
No.
don't give you a carrot. You've got to earn it yourself. And first and foremost, if you want to get more points in Celtic, they have to start beating Celtic. And I don't know where they go for that because it's a huge rebuild that they'll need at Ibrox.
But I think even yesterday, what we seen in the game was Hearts putting Celtic under a lot of pressure. And this resilience now Celtic have. Now, last year it was all rock and roll football. We'd be 3 goals up by half time. And then if we were jaded, fading a wee bit, it was fine because you had a 3 goal cushion. This year, I think Celtic's shown this other side to them, particularly after the Champions League, sadly, where there's a more of a resilience about them. And I think that's going to stand us in brilliant stead for next year potentially in the Champions League. What is it that's impressed you so much about Ange? Because I'm hearing through the grapevine that you've been a big fan of what he's done so far since he took over.
I think I think he stuck to what he knows, what way he knows most about football. He went in there, he went into the market and bought the players in from the market that he knew best of all, and that was Japan. So he used his education and what he'd experienced, put them in the team, and the boys have all turned out trumps. And I don't think it's on the back of Celtic signing a lot of players from Japan. There's a few signed for Premier League clubs as well in England. So, I mean, I think he maybe surprised people with bringing them in and people seeing the quality of the players that he brought in. And they've thought, well, Jesus, there must be some others over there. So we'll have a go at that as well.
See, just on that as well, do you think that also leads to then, see the players that he has attracted, as you say, from other corners of the world and as well as the big league down south? Do you think that encourages other players to want to work under him? Do you think they watch and go, he can make you a better player?
Well, they would have known for their own experiences of working in Japan against them. If what the word in the street was, and obviously it's been very complimentary because most of them have turned up and come over here. So he can only be himself, and he believed in himself. He believed in what he was doing was the right way to go and do it, and he did it. And the board backed him. He went away and brought the players in, and as you say, the rest is history. It's been a fairy tale, really.
I agree. It's a fairy tale is a good way of putting it, because I think from where Celtic were going into the season when Ange took over, I don't think anyone forecast he would be in this situation. But again, do you think that's one of the key traits that he's got? I was when we did the rehearsal, we'll call it now, we were talking about the in vogue term, Kenny, of philosophy, and managers, whenever they get a job now, they want to go, I need to get my philosophy over the team. Now, often they don't get given the time to even do that, if that was the case. However, I would guess, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, managers have always had what is now called a philosophy, but an idea in their head of how they want their team to play. Is the most important thing sticking to your guns on that? If you think that's going to win football matches, you need to close the noise, stick to your guns.
Well, the manager's got to manage a club in the way that he sees best fit.
Yep.
And he's got to have players in there that he thinks are going to follow his advice, do the best he possibly can to get it working. And I think that the two parts of the jigsaw fitted perfectly. Ange coming in, the players coming in, they all knew him. They liked his principles. Even the players, Callum McGregor's been superb for Celtic. He's been a fantastic servant, and he is a huge leader in there. And it was a difficult job for him to take over for Scott Brown, but he did it, and he's done it superbly well. So everybody's on the same sheet. There's no any distractions, and if you want to distract, then you can move on to somewhere else. It's no problem.
I think you've nailed
because
that.
you'll find somebody else.
You see, he has that attitude, doesn't he? He almost seems to he doesn't pander to it. If you want to go sound, see you later, mate, you're out. I think there's something quite refreshing about that, isn't there?
It is refreshing, but then they've gone in when he wanted them to go. When it suited him, the people have gone. He took a great signing in Calvin Vickers as well, for Tottenham on loan. He's a really good professional, good attitude. Unfortunately, he's injured now until the start of next season, but he's a good, strong example. And everybody, if you bring good people in, the people around about them are going to learn from them and going to adopt the same philosophies. So it's been brilliant for them.
Absolutely. And as we say, I mean, just to sum up, the importance of these things. I grew up when I was young in the 90s, right? And my dad would rave about you, kind of, no joke. See, when Henrik joined, for example, I don't want to do the whole blow smoke stuff. It's not really my style, right? And I'm sure you're sick of it anyway. But like he used to always say about Henrik, the best since Dalglish, the best since Dalglish. But it was up till Henrik joined. I went through years of, we finished fourth. We played a season at Hampden, and Celtic were lost a wee bit almost, and there was near misses. We never won. We won one trophy the whole time I was at primary school, right? I'm beginning to look at my dad going, what is this all about? You just want me to get picked on at the school stand, right? But now there'll be a generation of fans who know nothing but success. We're on the brink of 5 trebles in the last 8 years. But is it important to remember and reflect at things and go, this will not always be, the times will not always be this good, and you've got to kind of enjoy it at the same time whilst the good times are there.
But I'm sure that's the same case at a lot of clubs. You have spells when you're going to be really successful and spells when it's not going to be so good for you. And at the moment, Celtic are flying. Rangers are the ones that are filling the place where they're trying to chase them up and catch them and take over. But they've got a big job. But I mean, Ange's come in and revamped the place, and Rangers have got to revamp their place now. And until they do that, they're not going to be within touching distance of Celtic. But the Celtic, as I say, Celtic don't give them any prizes. They don't give them any presents. They go and every game's one that they want to win. And that's a great credit to Ange getting the players prepared properly and for the players to believe in what he's saying. Because some of the games they go to, they must think, oh, what are we doing here? We beat them 5 or 6 last year. Why we can do that again this year. But no, their attitude's always been superb and spot on. And if it's no, it makes it 60-minute substitutions and brings 3 or 4 on.
True, so true.
So if they're not doing it on the pitch, they know the ones on the pitch will do it. And that's a huge important part of the success as well. The people that don't play are hugely successful because they're putting the frighteners up the ones that are playing. And he knows when they come on, they can do them a turn.
Is that one of the hardest things about squad management? When you know everyone, like every manager always says, you need a squad, you have 2 players for every position, all these sort of cliches. But how difficult is it to juggle that and keep those who aren't playing, as you say, chomping at the bit and breathing down the back of the neck of the player who is in situ? That's got to be the bit.
The players got to believe you that you want to do it, and the only way you can believe you is by your actions. So if you put them on for matches and they do well, maybe 2 or 3 games down the line, he's going to start them in one of the games. So as long as they trust each other and they understand that it's no about 11 players, is it? It's about 16, 17 players now.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing. It's not a team anymore, it's a squad.
Yeah.
And if he makes the members of the squad seem very important, then they'll go along with that. Eventually they might want to move. Eventually it might be a time for the club for him to move, for the guy to move on as well, one of the players. So if he's fed up by no playing, wants to play more often, then he's got a good value because he's done well at Celtic. And they can move him on as long as he's got somebody else coming in.
Yeah, and we're in that position now with as we were talking about before, with the guaranteed Champions League money, the guaranteed group qualification that you get now. It's like Celtic are primed, I feel, this summer to learn from the mistakes of the past, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but I think when Brendan was in situ, I think going into that 3rd season, for whatever reason, they dropped the ball a wee bit. Whereas he'd got us 2 years in a row Champions League qualification, turnover at 100 million. I feel Celtic have kind of managed to get it back to where that situ was. There's a messiah, if you like, in charge. Everyone's on board. I think now if Ange goes this summer, please, sir, can I have some more? This would be the summer to, I would say, back him. That'd be that's my takeaway anyway.
Aye, well, I'm sure the board of directors want success every bit as much as Ange or any one of the players. So just because the directors didn't mean to say they don't want to be successful.
Oh, of course.
They're Celtic fans in their own right. So give them the credit they deserve, and give the manager the support they deserve because they want a happy Saturday night as well.
That's fair. That's fair. Put in my place by Kenny Dalglish at the end. That's probably the best moment of my life. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on. I'll not take up any more of your time since we've had to do it twice. But brilliant to have you on the bus. Kenny, hopefully one day, if I get a wee bit enough luck, you'll come back on and we'll have a wee blether again. But thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your holiday as well. And
I'll try my best. I'll try my best, Bhoycie.
Oh, amazing. And by the way, Kenny did not have to pay for his bus ticket today. It was absolutely on the house. So thank you very much for jumping on again, Kenny. I really appreciate it, mate. Thanks.
Thank you.